Welcome to Life Hacks Beyond Convention with Dee and Sonia.
Yeah, she was telling stories because she grew up in Gladstone.
Oh,
So
okay.
so she was telling stories about the jail and what it was like as a young person having a jail in your town.
Yeah.
And so I think, so there's a whole lot of stories and history that people have got that just make amazing.
Yes. Well,
as part of your tour and that, doesn't
yeah.
it? Like, and when I was a little girl, or when I was a little boy,
Yeah. Well,
when my grandma told me about.
Yeah. That must be
Yeah.
why we've got a lot of tickets supposedly sold. I mean, they say there's a 30 to 50% attrition rate, so there could be. That still means we're going to get 400 to 500 people in a 6-hour slot. That's epic. I mean, and if we get more, we could get more than that. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a lot of hard work on a holiday afterwards, I think. But, yeah, it'll be interesting. I just, hope that we can track down somebody or later on. It's going to be another couple of years before we can get anybody, set up in there. Even if we found someone straight away, it would take a while. But, at least we're going to get the community behind us with a couple of projects that we have got. So, yeah. The Adelaide Jail has a beautiful lawned area where they have marquees and weddings and birthday parties and lots of other things because it's nice and safe and closed off. And we've got an area like that. Obviously, there's no lawns at this point. It would be 3 times the size of Adelaide Jail. So just the cost of water to get it up to that standard would be high. So, so there's a lot of planning and, sort of brainstorming that needs to happen around it. Yeah.
So has there ever been anybody in Gladstone that's written a book about the jail or anything, or?
No, not that not that I know of, but we actually have I think she's a professor coming from Eastern States who's written something about it, or about the women in the jail. So she's coming to speak at some stage in the future. And so we're going to meet with her. So that might be, And if there's other stuff, I'm not aware of it just because I haven't had time to research it. But, So.
Yeah, because it's pretty fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah.
And there'd still be enough people alive that you could actually get first-hand stories.
Yes, yeah.
But, in another 10 or 15 years, maybe not.
There's a fair bit of documentation about little things, so maybe it could be pulled together. Yeah, so, So we'll see what happens.
Well, I remember doing a tour through it a few times. I would have done tours as kids at school, but then when our kids, when we were homeschooling.
We went through. Every time we had visitors, it used to be open at a very low rate, and we'd just go and walk through. So. And there's been when others were managing it, there was a medieval fair, there was a rock and roll fair thing. Friends 40th was there. So there were events there then, very basic and down to earth, but but we ended up with a heap of stall holders this time too. So we've got a whole heap of stalls. So
great.
Yeah.
So it's like, for us who are removed from the whole thing, it's fascinating, isn't it? But like talking to my ex-mother-in-law, she actually found it scary. Because there was one story that she was saying about how somebody escaped from the jail when she was a little girl, and how scary that was because they were out looking for him, and just the fear that people had, because he was it must have been a violent criminal, perhaps. I don't know. It's just her memories. So I'm not sure how old she was, but but she just doesn't have good memories of being a child, and the jail was on the hill and they were always a bit scared.
I know people. I know people have had sort of supernatural events or apparitions up there, particularly in the chapel. So, yeah, I haven't felt that or seen that, you know, I haven't had an experience like that. But then my belief and values is that nothing like that can hurt me anyway. So, yeah, so it's sort of about values and beliefs, isn't it? So, yeah, there's a bit of that. There used to be ghost hunter tours up there and stuff like that. So,
well, I think that's a bit of a thing, isn't it? Even at the Ararat Psychiatric Facility, I was listening a few years ago now to an ABC interview, and they were talking about, because they have ghost tours, and I just thought, oh, I wouldn't be bothered. But then when they actually had the interview, I thought, oh, it would be fascinating, because from the people that are leading the tours, it's not really about ghosts.
no, it's about history.
Yes, and just some of the horrendous things, obviously, that happened.
Yeah.
But, and I thought, I can understand, like we have a fascination with the past, don't we?
Yes.
We have a fascination with some of the horrible things that happened. And then as those people do pass away, especially if they pass away in those actual
locations,
places, you think, well, I can understand that those stories happen.
Yeah. I had a friend who
that
doesn't...
people go hunting for the ghosts.
Yeah, I have a friend who doesn't believe or didn't believe in that sort of stuff. And she was in the chapel and ended up taking photos, and there were weird lights. And it was daylight, but these lights were moving around. So, yeah, she was sort of like, well, there's no logic behind this. Where's that coming from? And looking around to find out what was reflecting, and there was nothing reflecting. So, that, yeah. But she wasn't frightened, luckily. So she was just curious. Yeah. So...
yeah, I've had enough things happen in my life over the years that I definitely believe there's a spiritual world of some description.
Yeah, I do too. So how far you share, or who you share it with, I think, or to the depth you take it. It depends on who you're dealing with. Yeah, interesting. Hit the subscribe button below if you want to follow Life Hacks Beyond Convention.